ahead. Turn it up. It's The Record Machine with your host, Jimi Holl.
Coming at you like a super bomb. My afterburner's blowing in the dark. The vision in smoke is celestial being. Should make the covers of the magazines. And your innocence is coming from the heart. When the light shines out of the stage, I come alive. When the light shines out of the stage, I wanna hear you scream. Louder than fiction, seize the addiction. Oh baby, it's alright. I can do that out tonight. Hey, it's a rock and roll frontline. Hit the green time. I wanna hear you scream. I can do that out tonight. Life by my own rules. The fast lane jockey, automatic cool. And I'm never ever gonna be slowing down. It ain't over till I say I'm done. I'm looking at the number one. I'm on fire, girl. It's fire all around. When the light shines out of the stage, I come alive. When the light shines out of the stage, I wanna hear you scream. Louder than fiction, seize the addiction. Oh baby, it's alright. I can do that out tonight. Hey, I'm a rocket messiah, taking you higher. I wanna hear you scream. Hey, I can do that out tonight. Shine out of the stage, I come alive. When the light shines out of the stage, I wanna hear you scream. Louder than fiction, seize the addiction. Oh baby, it's alright. I can do that out tonight. Hey, I'm a rocket messiah, taking you higher. I wanna hear you scream. I can see tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the band Suicide Bombers, Chris Damien Doll is on the program. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good.
So how's everything going?
Cool that you wanted to do an interview.
Yeah, well, I saw. I've seen some of your, your posts on Facebook and Glam Rock City, which is a really cool group to be a part of, and I just thought your band's really cool and interesting, so I wanted to chat with you. And I'd seen someone else had brought it up. I think it was Curtis.
Probably. It's usually him.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Curtis. I really like him. He does a lot for a lot of the bands that are making music, and
yeah, absolutely.
He's a good promoter.
Glam Rock City is a cool site. I like that, and Melodic Mafia a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're both.
Lots of people are passionate about music, and post their opinions.
Yeah, well, you got to look at it this way. I mean, social media today is pretty much the outlet for promoting your music, your bands and your music and stuff, because there's not many good radio stations anymore that even play anything that's worth a shit,
And in Europe, there never was. you know,
Okay.
there's, it's like it's not like I don't know, the 70s or 80s or whatever in America, where you had like tons of different radio stations that would play different music. You might have that here, like very locally, but radio never had the power in Europe that it did in America.
Yeah. I mean, America, back in, the 80s and 90s, the radio wasn't too bad. I mean, they did do a lot of promoting, and they had, MTV was still playing videos, and it wasn't all those shows about pregnant teenagers and, Guidos down the shore, it was all about the music, and then all of a sudden it went from MTV to trash TV, and it's just...
Yeah, I haven't watched MTV in years. To be honest, if I watch something now, it's usually something on Netflix.
Yeah,
I just like to be able to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it.
Exactly. I mean, it's a shame. Even a lot of the music that the newer bands that are out. I mean, I can only say I only like maybe a few, maybe a handful, not even that many. A lot of the music is not really that good. It's, what do they say in overseas? It's rubbish, right?
Yeah,
a lot of it,
I think I think that's the word they use in England a lot. Yeah, I think so too. I'm trying to like buy records and listen to new stuff, and I do that as much as I can. But I find myself, mostly like rather picking up records from bands from like the eras I'm interested in that I missed the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
like when you were like a 10 or 12-year-old kid, you got, I don't know, maybe 2 cassettes for Christmas and 2 for birthday, and then you saved up your allowance and got some in between, and those were the records you had all year unless you taped something from a friend. And there was a lot of bands I missed. Like I would see them on television or hear them at a friend's place or something like this, but it was like they weren't as cool as the bands I had money to buy. So I find myself picking up like back catalogs of 70s and 80s bands now. Probably most of the records I buy a year, except for bootlegs or that really. There are some new bands that I really love, but they're far. What do you say? Few and far between. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So out of the 80s, back in the 80s and 90s, what bands were you listening to, that you really enjoy?
I started, like, when I really started getting into music, it was Kiss, which I still like, and Wasp. Vane is a big band for me.
Okay.
From the 80s. I mean, it was all that stuff, Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, Motley Crue. I also like a lot of the punk stuff from my own Sex Pistols, stuff like this. I'm a little bored with most of punk now. I still like what would be considered like punk rock, but the stuff that's just punk, at least for the last couple of years, I've been a little bored with it. From the 90s, there really wasn't anything. I hated the 90s, and I just got so fed up with the short pants and those stupid lumberjack shirts that everyone was wearing. And
the flannel.
All the face. Flannel. What's up with that, man?
Flannel shirts, and everybody's depressed and talking about, like, death and gloomy shit,
Yeah, and by that time, I was kind of old enough to... I was just a kid in the 80s, right? So, but by the mid 90s, I was old enough to see through it. And, I mean, it was just like as put on as any glam band had ever been, I mean, just a lot of people trying to be real, but it was just like, So from the 90s, I think the standout record for me was probably one by Warrior Soul called the Space Age Playboys.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one. It's like it was after they were done with the Geffen deal, and I think it was released on like Music for Nations, which is a small British label. But it's their best record by far, and the rest of the time, I think really I was listening to like cassette demos, later CD demos from Hollywood bands that never made it, who were kind of like the next generation of glam. You had stuff like Queenie Blast Pop, Alley Cat Scratch, Heartthrob Mob, the Glamour Punks, stuff like this, which was kind of like an over-the-top, like influenced by Japan image, like the country Japan, not the band.
Okay.
And the music was kind of like a mix between the glam of the 80s, but with a lot of Ramones in it. So it was like Beach Boys on speed, kind of like.
Nice.
And I really dug that. None of those bands ever released anything. I mean, there was a couple of self-released CDs and, mostly just cassette demos, really. But I didn't find any joy in the grunge or the alternative stuff, and it was just such a letdown for me to see all of my most of the bands I loved from the 80s kind of jump on that bandwagon. I mean, most of them had been doing that all the way through the 80s. Like they all became a little bit more glam in 86, and then they became a little less glam in 89 and stuff like this. But when grunge came, that was kind of like a wave that was anti what they had been doing, and it was just like bending over and taking it up the ass from the younger generation. And I was just like, fuck that shit, you know.
Yep.
Release a great record instead, and stay true to the music that you invented, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. When I first saw your picture and the band's picture, and I heard the music, it kind of reminded me of like Sex Pistols meets Faster Pussycat, if that
cool,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I usually say is that I don't care what people compare us to, as long as they like what they compare us to. But I like both Faster Pussycat and the Sex Pistols, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean the look, you have that cool look, and then the almost the sound. It's almost like a crossover between the two, and both of them great bands. So, I mean, I think that's really cool. And your band is kick ass. And you have what, 3 albums out right now? It's
two Suicide Bombers have 2 full lengths and 1 mini album, so we count it as 3. Working on the 4th one now, and I think right from the start, I've been doing music for a long time. I started my first band when I was 10 years old.
Okay,
and have been constantly in bands playing original material since. So what I wanted to do when I started the Suicide Bombers was exactly that. Not to like mix any specific bands, but it was like to kind of take the music that I had been doing and make it a little more like classic hard rock, kind of leave the punk element a little more behind, but to kind of make an easily identifiable sound within that kind of genre, because right at the time when we started, there was kind of like a not huge, but there was a little bit of like a Scandinavian kind of sleaze thing going, and a lot of those bands looked great, but they didn't really sound original, and some were really cool, but at least most of them weren't that good to me. And I was just like, when I was listening to them, I thought, this could be any band, and I just wanted to kind of make sure that if you hear like a new Suicide Bombers song at the bar or anything like this, like if that's really gonna happen. But if you hear a song or see a video or something, you should know which band it is. Kind of like, I mean, if you heard a Motley song or a Wasp song back in the day, you would know. If you didn't know from the riff, you would know when the vocals started.
Right. Yeah. You have your distinguished sound. It's like like a Van Halen song. Like when you hear that guitar start going, it's Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah. And I still remember. I think this was 1989. I was really young. I was living with my parents, and I was listening to this like hard rock metal show that was on radio in the middle of the week, and it was too late. I wasn't allowed to listen to it, but I snuck a radio in my bedroom, and I would listen to it like not really loud. But the problem was that the bathroom was right across the hall from my bedroom. So if I heard any of my parents waking up to go to the bathroom, I had like turned the radio off. This happened, and when they went back to bed again, I turned it up, and that was just like turn it up. I knew that this was Wasp, right? And it was Mean Man. It was the first time I heard that single from the Headless Children record. And I was just like, that's pretty cool, you know. I missed the whole introduction, I missed the intro riff and everything, but it's like, yeah, this is Wasp. So that's what I wanted to do too.
Yeah, well, Chris Holmes, he actually, his band is actually called Mean Man now. He lives in France. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know. I followed him a little bit online, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few of his videos on YouTube, and I guess that's like that song's supposedly about him. So he kind of took on the name Mean Man for like his brand, I guess.
Yeah. He's played Norway a few times as well, or Oslo, the city we live in, but I've somehow managed to miss both concerts. I'll try to catch him the next time. I saw him when he was here. For a short time, he had a band called Wasp, like Wasp without the P.
Okay.
And it was, I think it was the guys who used to be in Randy Piper's Animal, the band that he started right after Wasp.
Right.
But Randy wasn't there, but I think they played a lot of those songs. That's the only show I saw with him, I think, apart from, the Wasp concerts they did.
So can you talk about the new CD that's going to be coming out later this year?
Yeah, I don't want to say a lot yet because it's not out until September, but it's we're we're working on it. So we got all the drums recorded, the bass is recorded. I've done all my guitars, and Stevie's soon done, I think, with his rhythm guitars. Just some small stuff there, and he's working on the solos. And I recently started singing lead vocals too, so I think we're recording 11 songs. There's just going to be 10 on the record, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with the last one, but I think I've done vocals for like 8 tracks already. Probably going to try and squeeze the other 3 in this weekend, and then it's with me it's usually like at least a week or a couple of weeks, or just like really listening to some crappy mixes I made myself to make sure I'm happy with the vocals, and I usually end up singing at least a couple of songs again. But that's the way it's always going to be. So like it's our 4th album. It's going to be a full length. It's going to be 10 songs, and the songs were great. It was a real struggle to write this one, to be honest.
And when you write an album, do you get the material from just life experiences, things that you witness and see, throughout the years, and then you write a catchy tune out of it, or is it like a group effort, or do you write all the lyrics yourself?
I mostly do all the lyrics. Like it's song can come from anything, I have like a lot of riffs and a lot of half-finished ideas lying around, so usually I will start writing songs almost immediately as I finish writing songs. Like I already started writing songs for the next record, the one after the one in September.
Wow.
But that will usually like stop after a few songs because you got press to do, you have videos to do, and you got to record the one you're working on now, kind of like so. But I think I only have like 1 or 2 songs ready for this one. And also we changed guitars since the last one. So like it was like what we would usually do is that we would just like take a little break from rehearsing or something and work on the songs, and then we could start rehearsing again. But this time, since we had a new guitar player, we needed to like rehearse the live set so we can say yes if we were offered like a festival or a concert or something. And also, when you have a new face in the band, you kind of want to go out and do something. So it was kind of like a lot of stuff to do at once, but I'm really happy with the songs, and especially some of the last ones that I wrote for this record is really cool. Inspiration, I think, can come from anything. You know, sometimes you watch something on like Netflix or a movie or something like this, and you think it's a cool idea for a song. Other times it's your personal experiences or somebody else's personal experience, but most of the time it's just like an emotion you want to get through, and you put the words to it that makes sure that that emotion gets out there, you know, no matter what it is. So yeah, I'm not gonna like give away the album title or any song titles or something like this now, but we're shooting for probably to release a single like before the summer.
Okay.
Because just because we want to do it really, and we have a gig in like 1.5 weeks, I think, and we're gonna start playing at least that one, probably another song is live as well. So just to kind of get a feel for the songs.
So where's your gig going to be next week?
It's going to be in our hometown of Oslo, Norway. It's a small new club called Vaterland, which is we never played there before. We like to play different places, at least around our own city, because just for fun, really, to kind of be all over. But this is not like as far as gigging, this is not like a busy time for us because we're kind of focusing on the record now, and a lot of people ask us like it's what month is it? It's January, and you guys are soon finished recording. You know, why aren't you going to release it until September? And the reason is that there's so much stuff to do, and we do pretty much everything ourselves. You know, I mean, there's people working for us and stuff like this, but there's not like a huge corporation behind that can make sure that stuff happens. So we kind of like to record the album, and then there's like videos to be made, there's press releases, there's all of this stuff, and our agent has to start booking concerts and stuff like this, and we just want to get like everything ready, so when there's album release and I'm busy doing interviews like all the time, everything else is kind of ready. So that's the reason for anyone wondering.
So you got the one show coming up, and what are you going to do, like one here and there up and maybe throughout, you know, the spring and the summer, and then once you release the record, say around September 2019, that's when you're really going to take charge and like go out and you know start hitting some places, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing. We have a pretty new booking agent now. At least he's new to us. So we just told him that I don't know the English word for this. When you kind of get a claustrophobic feeling from being in the studio all the time and just like working on stuff like that. We just every once in a while we just like want to go out, have a few beers, play a concert, and kind of like do this. So we just told our booking agent that, you know, if you can find something like for the spring and the summer and something like this, we're happy with whatever you find, you know. I mean, if it's one concert every second month, then it's one concert every second month. And if it's more, but focus on getting us jobs from like the end of September and then out the year and into next year, you know, because that's when we really want to play.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Now, you also have another band too called Doll Hazard, which I love that album that you put out with Sandy. What was it like working with him?
Oh, that was cool as fuck. I mean, I known Sandy for like I don't know, probably at least very early 2000s or something like this. We only met in person once, and that's when he was playing with his band McCrackens in Oslo in, I think it was 2006. And we kind of hit it off well. So we stayed in touch ever since, like by emails, and now on social media it's easier. And we always kind of had the idea to try and do something together because we agree on a lot of stuff and like connect nice. I mean, he's a cool guy, and forced at gunpoint, he'd probably say the same about me. So it's kind of like technology kind of caught up with the idea now, and we just kind of realized that, hey, this album that we've been talking about for 10 years is actually possible now if we want to do it. Do you want to do it? Yeah. Do you want to do it? Hell yeah. And we just started working. And I don't think, like, we haven't met since 2006. I don't even think we spoke live in person during the whole process of writing and recording the record. The first time we spoke was when we did like a radio interview together after the record was released. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't heard his voice for like, I don't know, 11 years.
Wow.
But it was very cool. We didn't decide on much to begin with. We were just, it kind of just, there was a flow there that came naturally. I mean, Sandy was the first one to send me a couple of his demos and say, hey, do you like this stuff? Is there something we could use for our album? And then I started sending him some stuff, and we worked on each other's ideas. And I think we only skipped like one song. All the rest of them were used. I think for both of us, it was kind of like cool because we're a little bit similar as writers, but we're also different. Mm-hmm. Sandy's, so I mean, we would kind of use our strengths because there was no ego. So I would be chopping away at Sandy's songs, cutting parts and editing them down to kind of feel that they got like a better flow or were more immediate. And Sandy's really, really cool with layering stuff, both vocals and guitars. So he would say either, like come up with something to layer the chorus there, or he would send me a riff for some vocals or something like this. And most of all of that stuff that we came up with, we'd use. So it was just like, I think when we were sitting there at the end, it was, just like, wow, we did it, And also stuff like, I mean, I would go through his drum tracks like with a microscope and send him feedback on that, and he would do the same, especially with, I haven't done bass for an album ever, so it's the first album I play bass on, but he would do the same with both my bass playing and guitar playing, and we would kind of like all in good spirits, and we would kind of fix everything and make it just right. So I think I listened to that record last week. It's still something I play every now and then.
Well, it's a great record. I listen to it a lot in my truck when I'm driving, and I love it. Will there ever be another one?
I don't know. I have no clue. Like it was a very enjoyable experience, but it's a lot of work, and I'm in two bands, and Dirtbag Republic. That's Dirtbag Republic. That's Sandy's band are probably going to start playing a little bit more live now when they do their, or going to start playing live when they do their next record now. So we're a little bit busy, and we're both kind of like these people who get really caught up in projects. So if we're working on something, we want to work on that all the time and get it done as good and quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. So we'd need the time and we'd need the songs, and part of the reason that this Suicide Bombers record was hard to write was probably that I used at least a couple of ideas I could have used for Suicide Bombers for Doll Hazard, Okay. Although they sound different, but it's, So it's, I don't know. I want to make sure I have a lot of songs before I do something similar outside the band again. But I'd love to work with Sandy. It was great fun. But we're not going to do it until the time is right, and there really is no pressure, I mean, CDs, it's just we just see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the fans would love to see that happen again.
Thanks. And that's the 12 songs we had. I mean, there was one extra that we didn't use, not because it was a bad song, but because it didn't like fit the style of music. But the rest of it is not. It's like we didn't choose the best of 50 songs. We sent the first things we came up with, and we worked on those. So that's part of the reason I'm so proud of it. It's just like everything worked well. So I'd love to do another record, but it's like, we need the time to do it. And at least I can say that as of now, it's not a priority, and it's probably not going to be next year either. So it's, but you never know. I mean, we still chat back and forth like at least every 1 or 2 weeks. So we stay in touch, you know.
So maybe in a couple of years we'll see another one. I mean, I know right now it's important that you get the new, the next Suicide Bomber record out, because everybody's looking forward to that. And I'm sure, like you said, that takes a lot of time just to put it all together. And then once you go out to promote it, that's probably going to be another year and a half. So, you're probably looking at another couple of years if you even decided to do it again.
Yeah, probably. I really don't know. It's like we just have to see what happens. People have been asking about it, but like, at least for the moment, I think for both Sandy and myself, it feels like right to focus on our main bands, because there's enough work to do there. Like I said, Suicide Bombers will probably. I'm also kind of a little bit hands-on involved in the mixing of Suicide Bombers records. Like we have a pro who does it, but I like to like come by often and kind of like listen and make small suggestions and stuff like that. But like we have that to do. We also have we're kind of getting we're working with a new designer for like the album cover and stuff like this time, and that also takes a little bit of time, because I mean, we want there to be you say like a red line, I mean that it's connected. Yeah, we want there to be like a red line in the designs we have done in the past and a new one, and you kind of always have to work closely with people until they kind of get it completely. We also have working with someone else to make the music videos, and we're like I said, we're shooting for one before the summer, and then hopefully, if it works out all right, we can do another 1 or 2 like in the autumn. And all that stuff's like a lot of work. And I also do this long write-ups for every album, like there's a whole universe behind the Suicide Bombers, and that's a lot of work. So it's there's like working with a lot of new people for the next record, and stuff will probably be a little more hands-on than it was in the past when we had already done 3 records with kind of the same setup. But I'm looking forward to all that. I'm having a new custom-made T-shirt, actually 2 for myself. Gonna cost shit lots to only print a couple of them, but I want to do that anyway. And we're looking into different stuff. I don't want to say too much, because you never know what's going to happen, but at least kind of that's the umbrella plan at the moment.
Maybe before the album drops, maybe you can come back on the show.
Yeah, I'd love to. I can give away a bit more than, so like right now I can just talk about recording and number of songs and stuff. But of course, I mean, we have a theme with every album. We had one for all of them, and there's going to be one for the next as well. The title of the next album was done, I think I told the band the title of this album when we took the cover pictures for Suicide Idols. So that's been ready for a long time and stuff like this. But I want there to be some new stuff in September that people can look forward to, So I'd love to, if you release a record, I can send it to you. You listen to it. Hopefully you'll like it. And if you want to have me back on, we can talk more like specifically about the album, and I will know what our plans for the immediate future are then.
How's August 2019, the end of August, maybe you can come back on?
Yeah, either end of August or maybe even end of September, because the album release will be like end of September, I think. Yeah. And I will give you a chance to hear the album first.
Awesome, man. I mean, I would love to have you back on. I love your music. I think you're a cool guy. And do you have a website that the listeners can check out? Maybe buy some CDs or any merchandise?
Nah, not at the moment. We're hoping to set up one. If they want to check us out, we're like Suicide Bombers. We're on all the streaming services. And if you go like on youtube.com/Suicide Suicide Bombers music. Remember the music, otherwise you're just gonna find a lot of assholes in sheets.
Yes.
You know. But if you do that, you can check out like our music videos and stuff like this. And if you can't like find a CD in your or a record in your usual online store or anything like this, you can always drop me a mail. I think I'm the only Chris Damien Doll on Facebook, and I'll be happy to send anyone one, you know. So it's no worries. But we're working on putting out one of these web shops. And I think if you're in America, you can I can't remember his address now, but I think we have if you Google Big Cartel and Suicide Bombers, I think you will find the web store of our American distributor. And that's going to be a lot cheaper for anyone in America than to buy CDs from me, because you won't have to go through the overseas postage.
Right.
So that's
true.
So check it out on like Spotify, Pandora, whatever you use, and then YouTube. And if you like it, please buy a CD and you do Big Cartel, Suicide Bombers, and that's going to take you right there.
That's awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I love your tunes, and I look forward to hearing the new album. Thank
you. And thanks for having me. It was great talking my ass off again. Cool. So the cool thing would be like if I come back in September, I could. I think it's cool to do it like after you heard the record.
Absolutely.
Because then you'll kind of like know what it looks like and know what it sounds like, and we could probably talk a little bit more like about the concept and the songs if you want to do that and stuff. And of course, whatever concerts or tours we have planned up. And
that would be great. Like I said again, Chris, you're great, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and let's keep in touch, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy?
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
All right, buddy. You have a good day.
Okay. You too, man.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.